Hey guys, didn't see you there. Sorry, I was just jangling around all my medals from finishing my marathon. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. I'm going to give you guys my mistakes that I made in my marathon and how to fix them. So hopefully you guys don't do the same. Without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so we're in the kitchen. The first thing I want to talk about is where I messed up with fueling. Now, this product and this product are not the same. They do not work the same and they do not serve the same purpose. Now, I messed up on this because in my hand bottle that I kept on course, so I had my own on-course nutrition the whole race, I only had this. Now, you may be wondering, they're both electrolytes. They're both said to be used for hydration. What's the difference? Well, the BPN, a great product as it is for their electrolytes, has 10 calories and only 2 grams of carbohydrates. So not a whole lot of fuel as far as keeping your energy levels up, but a solid electrolyte profile to keep you hydrated. Now the Gatorade has 80 calories per serving and 22 grams of carbohydrates per serving, which means you have a fair amount of sugar being activated to be used in your system to give you energy throughout the race, which is probably why I started to bog out relatively early on, around mile 16. So what I could do to fix this is either A, switch to BPN's G1M Sport product that is primarily a mix of like electrolytes and a carbohydrate source, so that way you have that long distance fuel, or cut corners and mix both of these together. You get your better electrolytes, you get your carbohydrates. It's probably going to taste just as good. This is fruit punch, this is lemon lime. I don't see that being a big deal, but that would give you both of what you need on both sides of the story and fuel you up just right. The next area I made a mistake was sleeping. I was not in my normal area of sleeping, which is my bed, which is back there. I wasn't in my normal sleep area. I wasn't in my normal sleep environment, and that caused me to not sleep very well. Now, obviously, you can't always control that. If you have to travel for a race, you'll end up in a hotel, you'll end up at an Airbnb, you'll end up at somebody's house. If you're on an ultra, who knows? You might end up camping somewhere. So things you can do to adjust that is try to find out what you can control as far as the climate, the sleep conditions, how many blankets, how many pillows you got, stuff like that. Just try to find any way you can to get comfortable. You're going to probably deal with some race anxiety like I did. I was ready to roll. I had the race jitters, but you have to be able to figure out how to get yourself to sleep good. The first night I had a race for the 10K on the boardwalk, I slept a total of 4 hours. Was fine for that race, but if I would have did that for the marathon, I still only got about 7 hours of sleep before the marathon. Probably not enough. Still kind of felt it, but good enough. I would have been done if I only got 4 hours of sleep. Would have never worked, would have failed, would have bonked, it'd have been over. So try your best to get your sleep. There are obviously sleep aid products you can try, but be very cautious with them because I have used this. This is just a generic CVS sleep aid. Don't ask me how to pronounce that. Diphenhydramine HCI 25 milligrams. I've used this and it feels less like you got a good night of sleep and more like you got hit by a train. So be very cautious with what you use. Melatonin might be a little more relaxed on you, but this was not a good option. I did not use this. If not, I probably would have slept through my alarms. I've done that before. So be very cautious with what you use of sleep aids. Try to experiment with that earlier on. I know, obviously, when you're sleeping in your own environment, trying to experiment with what makes you sleep good in a non-comfortable environment is not easy. So please, please, please be careful with how you adjust your sleep. Always make sure you use the bathroom before the race. Don't get in the corral too early if you don't need to be in the corral too early. If the race starts at 8 a.m., get in the corral by like 7:55. Get in the corral by 7:50. Don't get in at 7:30 like I did. I ended up having to use the bathroom within the first 4 miles of the race. Granted, at those times, usually there's not a whole lot of people jumping for the bathroom, so I got lucky. But needing to use the bathroom to take a leak before the race has actually started just kind of inconveniences you. And then another thing is, if you do stop and you're trying to stay within a pace group, don't play catch up. You'll gradually pick it back up. I jumped my pace down. You'll see it on my chart. I'm going to put it up there. I jumped down from my normal. I was shooting for around a 9 to 9:30 mile. I shot down to an 8:20 and drained the tank a little too early. So take your time. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And use the bathroom before you go. The next tip I got for you where I messed up was always be prepared. Because historically, the race that I was running, it has always rained. It has never really been a sunny race. The past 2 years that I've known of its existence, it's rained both times. So I brought the raincoat with me, but I did not bring my sunglasses with me. And if you look at some of the pictures, I'm going to post one or two here. It was sunny and windy. Well, kind of windy. It was breezy. Pretty much the whole race. And also, where there's sand and there is wind, there is sand in the air. So there was a couple locations where it was like I was getting hit with a little bit of sea breeze and getting that saltiness shot at me. So having a pair of these to protect my eyes from the wind, from the sun, from the salt, probably would have did me a whole lot of help. But I didn't bring them because I forgot them. Because I was under the assumption it was going to be cloudy and rainy like the forecast said, and it never rained. I never got a drop of moisture on my body other than sweat the whole weekend. So always be prepared, know what you're walking into. And if you don't know what you're walking into, prepare for what you might be walking into, because you never know. All right, so now for this one, it's less of a mistake and more of a suggestion, but take the time. I know you're going to be exhausted, but stretch out when the race is over. Take your recovery seriously, because I'm 2 days done and I'm still dealing with some tension, and I stretched, and I massage gunned, and I foam rolled. It's all going to affect you differently based on your hydration, your nutrition, your flexibility and mobility already, but take the time to stretch, because this sucks. And I've been doing it for 2 days straight now, and I'm exhausted of stretching. But please take it seriously, because it could lead to injury, it could prevent a future injury, and you want to be able to move when you're old, right? Thought of another on-course fueling tip that you can make a mistake on if you don't do this right. I didn't mess this one up, but I could have. So know what the course offers before you get into the race, so you know what kind of fueling you're going to have available. Now, I knew that they were going to have these gels that I had never tried yet, so I brought all of my own gels. But they also had at number 15, bananas. This banana isn't much more good. I'm going to use it for a smoothie and call it a day, but they were offering bananas on course. Now, I had never eaten a banana while running, so that was new, but I knew that my body would not most likely react negatively to be eating a banana while running on the course. I knew that I'd be able to digest it, I'd be able to use it as some form of fuel, a good amount of carbs, a good amount of potassium, and it would be able to keep me from cramping through the rest of the race. So try to be smart with your fueling, know ahead of time what's going to be available. And if you can't find everything and you see something that's different, make sure you know how your body reacts before you take it. Because next thing you know, you'll be eating potatoes and all this other stuff that I've heard races have offered, slices of bread I've even heard. And yeah, that sounds great. But if you don't know what your gut is going to do before you eat that, it could be an uncomfortable next couple miles. I had another 11 to go at that point. So who knows what could have happened if I decided to eat something that my stomach didn't agree with. So always be smart, know what you're going to eat, know what it does to you, and just try your best to be a little tame. So I was out today, and I thought of one more little tip I could throw in to help you with your marathon, and that is go at your own pace. I had an issue where I was trying to hold on with a pace group. I knew roughly I could hold about a 4-hour marathon. Unfortunately, I was sadly mistaken, because when I was with the 4-hour group, the 4-hour group was going way faster than I would have gone for a 4-hour marathon. We actually hit a point where we were hitting like 8:07, 8:05 miles. I'm like, there's no need for this. I was like, a lot of us were going to burn out by the end. So find your space. Not all pacers are perfect. You're going to have to find your perfect pace. And you can't rely on somebody else necessarily for that. So you have to rely on what you know your body is capable of. So find your pace. Don't follow somebody else's pace, and you should be just fine. All right, you guys. Well, that is all I got for you today on my marathon mistakes that I previously made. I'm hoping to use this as a tool to inform people to not make the same mistakes I made, and for me to not make the same mistakes that I've previously made. So if you found this video to be informational, helpful in any way, shape, or form, please consider dropping a like and subscribe. I'd love to have you guys around. I'm going to have so much more content coming out in the next couple of weeks, including some gear breakdowns that I've used for the marathon, reviews on the shoes I've used, etc. Whatever you think of, I'll try my best to come out with it. But until then, guys, I will see you guys in the next one. See you guys.